Well, I don't think so. I mean, it's being tested, certainly, but there are a lot of obstacles in his way in terms of doing away with American democracy. Our system is built on shared power between the federal government and the states. And he's going to have to work with a lot of state law, existing state law that was in place before the election, and state courts before he gets anywhere near the United States Supreme Court.
And that is the critical point, because a lot of people are concerned that if it does go all the way to the Supreme Court, the court now is very much stacked in a Republican, in a conservative mould, but that hasn't yet been tested either in this case.
No, it has not. And you don't just get to the United States Supreme Court. You have to have a valid ground. And it's going to be difficult for Trump to find a particular ground that would warrant Supreme Court intervention.
The battleground states that we're looking at tonight, showing sometimes just a difference of a couple of thousand votes. Does the system allow for a challenge to counting? Is there an automatic recount if it is very close?
Well, let's talk about, there are really 6 states that are in play. In a couple of those, you have recounts that are allowed only if the margin is at a certain level. But in pretty much all of these places, the recounts are not automatic. They have to be requested. Now, I think you can obviously expect the GOP and President Trump to do so if he loses in those places. But Arizona, for example, does not allow for recounts. Pennsylvania requires that the margin be extremely low for a petition for recount to go forward. So it's going to vary. You know, places like Nevada and Michigan are pretty open in terms of requesting a recount. But I would expect lawyers to go after every single one just because of the way that Trump operates.
Yeah. If we look at a state like Wisconsin that is wafer thin at this point as to who might get across the line, Wisconsin, their Supreme Court made a ruling that votes could not be counted after a certain point. Could that be challenged if it becomes the matter of a few hundred votes at the end of the day?
There is absolutely no basis in law anywhere in the United States to arbitrarily cut off counting at a particular time. All of the states have specific deadlines by which the final vote has to be certified, and none of them is election night or anything close to it. Absentee ballots have been anticipated, contemplated, built into state statutes for as far back as one can possibly recall. So this concept of having to count on election night is just a completely made up thing.
It's extraordinary, and it is sort of garnering so much widespread acceptance. Let's talk about if there is a clear outcome over coming days as these states, wrap up counting. Can the Electoral College vote outcome be tested in the courts?
Well, there are a lot of steps that have to happen before the Electoral College outcome, okay? Most of the court battles would have to occur before the Electoral College meets. And I'm thinking that that's December 14th. I've been up so long, the exact date is escaping me. It's either the 8th or the 14th. But in any event, so what you're going to see first is all those court battles taking place before the Electoral College meets. And then governors typically certify the electoral certificates, which are sent to Congress. So expect that to happen before the Electoral College does.
Lynne, it's remarkable that you are still standing and so eloquent, but I think it's a night to remember indeed. Extraordinary times. Thanks for joining us.
No question. Thank you very much.